This story opens with a breathtaking view of the Trollhall Mountains in Norway. Massive cliffs stand tall with sharp and wild shapes, as if testing anyone brave enough to get close. A thin mist covers parts of slopes, adding to the cold and threatening atmosphere. In the middle of that place, we meet the married couple Sasha and Tommy, two professional climbers on a tough expedition.
Come on, old man.
That morning, they wake up inside the portaledge tent hanging on the side of the cliff, high above the ground. The wind blows gently. The sky is still quite clear, giving hope to continue the journey. Without much talk, the enthusiastic Sasha immediately invites Tommy to climb again. They neatly set up all their gear: carabiners, cams, safety ropes, helmets, and climbing shoes. The two of them start moving upward with calm and practiced steps. Their movements are steady and calculated, showing the long experience they already have. But as soon as they reach a much harder section, everything changes. In front of them is a large rock bulge jutting out. Sasha tries first. Sasha fails. She tries again, still fails. Sasha repeats it over and over, but the result is the same. Her face starts showing clear frustration. Tommy, seeing that and also noticing the weather starting to change, tries to calm his wife. He suggests they stop for now and continue tomorrow when conditions are better. But Sasha refuses firmly. It turns out this isn't the first time Sasha has failed at the same spot. That experience makes her even more determined to try again. An argument becomes unavoidable. Sasha insists while Tommy tries to persuade her to be more rational.
Final pitch, Tommy.
It'll still be there in the morning, I promise.
Meanwhile, time keeps passing. The sky that was clear slowly darkens. Thick clouds gather, the wind gets stronger, and the air temperature drops drastically. The situation that was under control becomes truly dangerous. Finally, after a long argument and seeing the conditions getting worse, Sasha gives up. They agree to descend back to the tent. Unfortunately, the decision comes too late. The weather has already deteriorated badly. Strong winds make it hard for them to keep balance, and every move becomes very risky. The descent that should have been easier turns into a very tense moment, and that's where the tragedy happens.
I can't hold it any longer.
5 months later, the story jumps to Sasha's life now, where she is alone. Her face no longer shines like before. Losing Tommy left a deep wound. Guilt keeps eating at her, as if everything that happened was her fault. During those 5 months, she never climbed again. No adventures, no spirit. Her life feels empty. But there's one thing still pending, an old plan they wanted to do together but never got to. Sasha finally decides to go alone to that remote location in the middle of the wild forest, not to climb or challenge nature, but to close everything. Sasha wants to scatter Tommy's ashes there as a final goodbye. The journey begins. Upon arriving at the registration post, Sasha handles the entry permit. The officer immediately gives a serious warning. In the past few months, many people have gone missing in that area. Some were never found again. On the bulletin board, many photos of missing people are posted. Even so, Sasha continues with her intention. Before entering the forest, Sasha stops by the mini market to buy extra supplies. There, 200 guys start hitting on her in an uncomfortable way.
You got everything you need?
Luckily, the guy working at the cash register named Ben immediately stepped in. Calmly but firmly, he told the two men to stop bothering Sasha. After the situation felt safe again, Sasha finished shopping.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, you didn't need to.
Thanks, Mel. I'll be back in it.
Sasha then noticed her car was parked right next to Ben's car. She took the opportunity to ask him about the route to her destination.
Hi, hello. I'm trying to get to Grand Isle Narrows.
Ben kindly helped explain the path she needed to take while looking at the map Sasha brought, because in that area, GPS signal couldn't be relied on.
9Ks?
Okay.
It's a bit of a well-kept secret right by the shore.
That night, Sasha finally arrived at her destination. She had just gotten out of the car and was about to set up her tent when suddenly the group of hunters she had met at the mini market appeared around the area. Feeling unsafe, Sasha quickly got back in the car and locked the doors tightly. She chose to wait until the situation was truly safe. Luckily, by the next morning they were gone. Sasha then continued with her plan. Sasha paddled along the river using the small boat she had brought, with her camping gear bag inside it. After a fairly long journey, Sasha reached a deeper and more remote part of the forest. That was where Sasha carried out her main purpose. Slowly, she scattered Tommy's ashes into nature, placed a few memorial photos, then sat quietly for a moment as if trying to make peace with the past. After that, she hung her bag on a tree trunk and rested inside the tent. But the next morning, something strange happened. When she came out of the tent, Sasha found her bag missing. Even though the night before she was sure she had hung it securely, there were no signs of animals or people around. Even stranger, there was suddenly a snake inside her tent, even though the tent had been tightly closed all night. Feeling that something was wrong, Sasha decided to follow the river again, hoping to find clues or her bag. Until finally she saw a blue boat moored at the riverbank. Sasha approached and called out. It turned out the person inside was Ben, the guy who had helped her at the mini market. They sat together and started talking. At first, the atmosphere felt relaxed. Ben even showed her his homemade food supply, beef floss that he called Abin Sapigino, taken from his mother's name. Their conversation flowed lightly. But slowly the direction of the talk changed. Ben began telling why he chose to live alone in the forest. According to him, city life was full of fakeness. People there weren't honest, always wore masks, and it was exhausting. In the forest, he felt more alive, freer, and more honest.
It's like I'm in pain if I don't get out on the river.
When Sasha told him about what happened the night before the hunters who had bothered her, the atmosphere changed. Ben's tone of voice started sounding different, his expression hard to read, and that was when the uncomfortable feeling began to appear. Without Sasha realizing it, since the night before Ben had already been in the area, together with a group of hunters who had bothered her, that fact slipped out, and in an instant the sense of safety Sasha had felt completely collapsed. Sasha was overcome with panic. Her instincts pushed her to get away immediately. But before Sasha could leave, Ben raised his hand and showed her a small object that made her freeze. Her bracelet. The bracelet that should have been inside the missing bag. At that moment, Sasha realized all these strange events weren't a coincidence. Everything had been arranged. Calmly, Ben walked into his hut, leaving Sasha in confusion. Not long after, Ben came out again while throwing Sasha's bag onto the ground, as if it meant nothing. But what made the situation even more terrifying was what he was carrying. A bow and arrow in one hand and a portable speaker in the other. Without much explanation, Ben only gave one simple rule. Sasha was given a chance to run while the music from the speaker was still playing. Once the song stopped, the hunt would begin. There was no other choice. This was no longer a normal situation. This was a life and death game.
I threw in a few extras to level the playing field.
Everybody going out of their skin. See, we get to the Jack who stole to the depths.
As soon as the music stopped, Ben immediately moved. Panicking, Sasha ran without a clear direction, trying to get away as fast as possible. Sasha jumped into her small boat and let the river current carry her away. In her chaotic and terrified state, the only thing she could think about was surviving. But bad luck came again. The river current grew wilder, her boat lost control, and finally flipped near a waterfall. In that critical condition, Sasha had to choose between saving the boat or her bag. Without hesitation, Sasha chose a bag because it contained all the gear that could help her survive. With her body wet and breathing heavily, Sasha managed to reach the riverbank and immediately looked for a place to hide. In the tense silence, Sasha heard the sound of human conversation in the distance. It sounded like a family camping. Hope appeared for a moment. With careful steps, Sasha approached the source of sound. But when she arrived at the location, there was no one there, only a phone playing a voice recording. Suddenly, Sasha realized this was a trap. Ben had arranged everything very neatly, turning her into prey in the game he had created. Sasha ran again, this time with even greater fear. Arrows started flying toward her, breaking the silence of the forest. But Ben wasn't aiming directly at her body. He deliberately targeted Sasha's bag, as if wanting to prolong the game and enjoy every second of her fear. until finally Sasha lost her balance and fell back into the river. Ironically, that incident actually made the distance between them even greater. Following the current, Sasha kept moving until she found a tall cliff. With the last of her strength, Sasha climbed slowly to the top. From that height, Sasha tried to understand her position and find a way out. Sasha took out her binoculars, but what she saw made her heart pound hard. Ben was moving calmly, as if he knew every corner of this forest. Sasha then realized one thing. As long as she was on land, Ben would always be able to find her. From there, Sasha started making a plan. The only way to get away was by water. Sasha decided to hide first and wait for the right moment to steal Ben's boat. That chance came when Ben looked relaxed, even like he was just playing around in the forest. Without wasting time, Sasha slipped into the water and swam underwater, trying not to be seen. Slowly, Sasha approached the boat, but it turned out everything had been calculated. Ben was never truly off guard. Ben deliberately let Sasha get close, and in an instant Sasha was caught. That night, Sasha was left tied up in the middle of the cold rain. Ben just sat relaxed in the distance, staring at her with a satisfied expression, as if he had just finished an entertaining game. The next morning, Sasha was taking up the boat while still tied up. In the middle of the journey, Ben started talking at length. He revealed that he had known Sasha for a long time from the television news about her story of surviving the storm on the cliff while her husband didn't. Since then, Ben had felt interested. For Ben, Sasha wasn't an ordinary victim, but a challenge. Someone with high survival skills. Someone worthy of being played with.
I guess you don't want to talk about that.
It was just an unfortunate accident.
While Ben kept talking, Sasha quietly observed her surroundings. Sasha saw a piece of metal near her feet and tried to reach it to fight back, but her attempt failed. Ben immediately noticed and without hesitation pushed Sasha into the water. He even dragged Sasha's body with the boat, letting her hit rocks in the strong current without caring. For Ben, all of that was just part of the entertainment. The journey ended at a hidden place, a cave that couldn't be seen from the outside. Inside that cave, the truth started to be revealed. Sasha saw various belongings of the missing people, the remains that proved they hadn't really disappeared, but had become victims. All the people reported missing in that forest were actually Ben's doing. Even more shocking, Sasha found Ben's homemade food packaging, the beef floss he had once bragged about. Slowly, the horrifying reality opened up. It wasn't ordinary meat. It was human meat. It even came from his own mother. Before ending everything, Ben sat in front of Sasha and asked one simple question. Did Sasha think Ben was wrong? Then Ben started explaining his view.
You really think I've got a problem?
For Ben, the people he loved and the ones he hated had to become part of him forever. That way they would never leave him, would never betray him. All of it stemmed from his childhood. Ben was abandoned by his father and only lived with his mother in loneliness and suffering. Feelings of love and hatred mixed into one, forming his distorted view of human relationships. Without him realizing it, that wound slowly turned him into a figure who lost the boundary between affection and madness. A man who could no longer distinguish what was humane and what was horrible. In the end, Ben only wanted one thing, to never be left again, no matter what. The motive behind Ben's madness was finally revealed in a very horrifying way. For Ben, every person he met in the forest was no longer a human with their own life, but something that he had to possess completely. They were hunted, dragged into a cave, and then preserved so they would stay with him forever.
Right.
Is that your mom?
In his already twisted mind, that was the way to make sure no one would ever leave him again. Ben even talked about his mother with full pride, calling her the first. With a flat expression that felt even more disturbing, Ben explained that his mother was now always with him, becoming part of him. And now Sasha was the next target.
She was special. Always with me.
When Ben got closer and hugged Sasha while expressing his intention, Sasha immediately realized that the chance to survive only came once. Without hesitation, she fought back and managed to free herself from Ben's grip. But that freedom only lasted a short time. Ben quickly chased her and in the middle of the chaos managed to grab the rope, still tied to Sasha's hand. In an instant, he wrapped the rope around his own body, right at the waist. Now, if one of them fell, the other would be dragged along. The strong river current then pulled them uncontrollably, carrying both of them until they plunged off the waterfall with an unavoidable hard impact. Thin luck still sided with Sasha. Ben's head hit a rock and made him unconscious for a moment. From there, Sasha made the most of that short moment. Sasha quickly grabbed anything around her to fight back. Her effort succeeded in breaking Ben's leg. With that condition, Ben could no longer move as freely as before. Even so, the problem wasn't over yet. They were still tied to each other by the same rope. Night came, and both of them were forced to survive at a very close distance. Sasha was in a difficult situation. The handcuffs on her hands weren't easy to remove, while getting close to Ben remained risky because the man was always alert with a knife in his hand. In the end, the tie was kept, making them like they were trapped together in a relationship that couldn't be broken. Day after day passed under heavy pressure. For about 9 days they survived like that. Sasha started thinking of a more reasonable way out. Sasha asked Ben how long it would take to get back to the camping area. The answer she got only made things worse. It would take about 12 days of travel because the river current had carried them very far downstream, past several waterfalls. They were now far from the original route. The only way to shorten the journey was to climb the tall cliff standing in front of them. That choice was clearly dangerous, even sounded reckless. But there was no other alternative. As an experienced climber, Sasha finally made a bold decision. Sasha would climb that cliff even though she had to bring Ben along. When Ben doubted the plan, Sasha calmly explained the technique of climbing with one leg. She also assured Ben that they could stay safe if the rope was moved to her waist. Sasha added that if anything happened, they would fall together, a statement that actually made Ben trust her more. Reluctantly, Ben agreed to the plan.
Dude, over by the wall, okay?
The climb began. In far from ideal conditions, Sasha slowly started ascending the cliff. Every move was done carefully and with full calculation. But behind all that, Sasha was actually carrying out another plan. Sasha realized the rope connecting them wouldn't be strong enough to hold both their weights for long. Sooner or later, it would become the weak point. While continuing to climb, Sasha secretly tried to loosen the tie at her waist. The first attempt failed.
Fucking idiot.
But Sasha didn't give up. When she reached a section of the cliff that jutted out and couldn't be seen from below, Sasha tried again. This time it worked. The tie finally came loose. In an instant, Ben lost his balance. With nothing holding him, Ben fell downward, dragged by the rope that had been connecting them. Sasha was truly alone now, without safety gear, without a rope, only relying on her exhausted and wounded body strength. Sasha continued to climb. Every foothold became a life or death bet, but with her remaining energy, experience, and determination, Sasha kept moving upward. Until finally Sasha reached the top. Sasha was safe. Without looking back, Sasha immediately left the place and walked as far as possible from the nightmare that had almost taken her life. After a long journey, Sasha finally met someone who gave her a ride.
Do you need water or anything? Or?
It's on me.
They headed straight to the registration post. There Sasha reported everything about the hidden cave, the missing people, and the horrifying truth that had been hidden in the forest all this time. Not long after, an evacuation team was sent to the location. The movie closes with a scene of the rescue team starting to evacuate the victims' bodies from inside the cave one by one, revealing the terror that had been buried in silence. And that's where the story ends.